this incredible program. So, Charity, I would love to hear from you. Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
That's exciting.
Thank you.
I'm called Charity Namanya, for those who can pronounce it.
Charity Namanya, mwabasobola okuyogera
The project we are visiting today is called the Child and Family Support. Most times we've heard about child sponsorship. How many have heard about child sponsorship? I know most of us have heard about child sponsorship. Now, this is the opposite of the child sponsorship, or the improved way of supporting children in their families. Why did we come up with the Child and Family Support system or program? Several times when different people support children, you find that a sponsor is sponsoring only one child in a family, which is unfair to the rest of the children in a family. And these other children grow up feeling unloved, uncared for, and it's only the child that is being sponsored that gets support, and the rest maybe drop out of school, or they don't have any other livelihood ways of living. So Samaritan first designed the Child and Family Support Project to let every child in a family or every member in a family to get an opportunity to be supported. Now, if a sponsor is willing to support the Samaritan First Child and Family Support Project, the support goes to the whole family. The father, mother, and the children, and everyone living in the family is supported. How are these families supported? How do we support these families? Usually, we've been doing handouts. We've had giving out non-food items, food items in different communities. But this does not bring any impact in their lives. After the non-food items and the food items are over, the families continue suffering when there's nothing happening. So we build the capacity of the families to be able to sustain themselves. We have a curriculum that we use to train the families that is called the livelihood lens. Lens is like for respect. So the livelihood lens helps the families to realize their capacities to sustain themselves. Now, these trainings, we work with churches. Let me say, through this project, we work with churches. In this area or this sub-county, it's called Busukuma sub-county. Bazungu say Busukuma. It's called Busukuma sub-county. It's in Wakiso district. So we work with 5 churches. Now, we train the church leaders in these churches to be able to reach out to the families that we're working with in this area. We are supporting 75 families in this area. Who, from the 75 families, we have 182 children, and more than that. So we train the 5 church leaders from the 5 churches to form 5 church action groups. Now, the 5 church action groups, we call them the community educators or church educators. So these people are the ones that reach out to these families that we're working with. Now, each action group have members equivalent to the families they are to support. So in a church, each member of the action group has a family they are overseeing. So the church action group members visit the families weekly to find out how the families are doing health-wise, socially, are the children attending school regularly. Those are some of the things they look out, and also to share the word of God with the families, and also to pray with the families during the visits. Now, sometimes you find that families have different challenges. Not all families are the same. So if a church action group member went to the family and found that our family had a problem that the action group member cannot solve alone, they get back to the church and share it with the church members. Then the church members raise funds to support the family, that family that has a challenge. I want to let you know that working with churches is one of the most sustainable way of sustaining projects in the community. Why? Who knows when the church is no longer going to be in the community? When will there be no church in the community? The churches are there forever. I'm not sure, but until the churches are going to be there. And getting back to what the Bible tells us, it's the role of the church leaders to reach out to the vulnerable members in our community. So through the envisioning curriculum, we teach the church leaders to know that it's their role to take care of the vulnerable families in their communities, and that's why they choose to do it willingly without Samaritans first paying them any money to reach out to the families. So the church leaders and their action groups are doing a great work to reach out to the families. Now for the 75 families we've been supporting the children with scholastic materials. We are supporting them we've been training them in kitchen gardening. We've been training them in growing crops even on a larger scale that will help them to sustain their children. As I've been talking about the support, you won't hear me talking about school fees because we want to support the families to be able to generate the school fees themselves. And that helps them to treasure what their children would have attained other than someone else. Several times they call them, like, if Samaritan's Pass is giving sponsorship to the children, they'll call them Samaritan's Pass children. We want them to sustain their families, not taking them like the organization families because it's coming in to support them. And usually for sponsorship, you find that the children or the parents don't mind a lot about following up the children's performances because they don't struggle to pull the money for school fees. Every end of term, even before the term ends, the school fees is already there. So they don't mind whether you perform or you don't perform, someone else is paying the money. But here we believe if they are the ones pulling the money for school fees, they'll feel the pain. They wouldn't wait for the church action group member to come and ask why is it that the child has not gone to school. Because if I'm paying your fees, then why should you stay home? But because someone else is paying the school fees, they don't really feel that burden and the responsibility to follow up the children, please go to school. So we want them to contribute towards this so that they sustain it. They don't feel it as a Samaritan's Pass project, but they feel it as their own project. So you realize that Samaritan's Pass comes in at a monitoring level just to see what is happening. But most of the work is done by the church leaders and their action group members who go to the families to monitor them, to help them. Now the church action group members go to the extent even of cultivating the gardens for the families that have elderly people who cannot cultivate because they need to eat, and the church action group members cannot keep on bringing food to the families. While if they cultivated the garden for the family, the children in the home can harvest for themselves. Yeah, so the church action group members are the ones that are doing the majority of the roles and activities in the child and family support.
Wonderful. Does anybody have any questions for Charity?
Any questions?
She did a wonderful job. Can we give her